When are you?
We're live! Hello, everybody. We are only me and Ben today because Ashley's daughter fell. And we were just saying, okay, this is a different constellation, and I have defined throat, and Ben has an open throat. So he's like, you are in charge. I'm gonna respond to you. So
Yeah.
we are live, and my first question is like, how has your week been? We changed transit into the 42 about expectations and celebrations.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about your week and where you're at right now.
Yeah, for sure. Would you like to share the screen and put the mandala wheel, or do that?
I was thinking, yeah, the Jovian. That's probably the
Yeah.
easiest one.
Can you put the wheel? You know, the mandala wheel,
Yes, let me do that.
because I think this is gonna be relevant.
I think I can even do. This is cool. Can I do 42?
Or yeah, just just do the just now shot. You know, if you go to my body graph, no, my body graph, no,
No,
on the on the top you can see my body graph, no, above,
here.
yeah, no, and then on the right, so you have talking body graph and then you have my body graph, yeah, my body graph here, and
And you
then
can do just now, or you want to do transit.
yeah, just now, no, just yeah, or just now or transit,
Just
but
now is
just
better.
now, just yeah, just put a just now, yeah,
And do you want everything in it?
yeah, everything, so standard,
Okay.
no, yeah, everything, yeah, beautiful.
Or
So
just
this is,
personality? Do you want just personality? Yeah, you don't want the design, right?
well, we can have the design as well. I don't mind. We can have everything. So we have the whole picture. We can see everything.
Actually, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't show both. No, it doesn't because
Oh
it
yeah,
says
no, it's just yeah. Of course,
it's
yeah,
only the
because
where the
it's
sun is right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
So just put back, yeah,
It
personality.
doesn't come back. It's so funny. I don't know how to do that now. Wait, maybe I can go back.
What did you do? No, go back to my body graph.
My body graph,
Yes,
and then we're gonna do new just now.
just now. Boom.
Perfect.
Okay. Um. So yeah, when we have a look, yep,
Is it big enough, or do you want me to? What do you want me to do?
it's fine. I can see. Yeah.
So right now we were in 51, and now we're going to be in 42. We are in 42. We were in 51 last week.
Yes, we're in 42 today, since yesterday. So what I wanted to share is just like having a little, how can I say, a little overview on what it has been happening for the last couple of weeks. Um, the coronavirus started, if people remember, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, almost like 4 weeks ago, and it was gate 36. So we can see in gate 36, that was the crisis. That was the beginning of everything. So we had crisis. And then we went into 25. So the crisis was really an urge to, progress. It was emergency, emerge and see. In times of crisis, we have the emergency to emerge and see to progress. So to change and to see what's going on and what is not good. And we have this urge to return to innocence. So that was gate 25. Then, everyone got quarantined and confined at the house, and yeah, to just return to innocence. So to have this healing. So that was the gate 25. And then we went into 17, where everyone started to kind of like sharing their own opinions and, oh, I believe this, I think we should do that, and blah, blah, blah. So we have so many opinions today on the planet. And what's also funny is having all those coaches and healers and gurus, and everyone wants to sell you something. Everyone wants to teach you something. Everyone wants to tell you, I have the right key, to happiness, to success, to blah 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 blah. That was Gate 17, the opinions. And then we went into the 21st, which is all about controlling the resources. So it was a big struggle about money. So it was a couple of weeks already in quarantine. Everyone started to kind of like freak out. Oh my God, how I'm gonna be able to survive? How can I have money? What's going on here? The whole fear and blah blah blah. So the control of resources. And then we went into the Gate 51. That was the shock. So it was shocking to return to innocence. And now we are Gate 42, which is, increase the gate of the growth. So that's kind of the expansion of the resources, which really maximize the development for the full potential. In other words, this is the only gate in human design in the whole hexagram that has the possibility to uh, end cycle, to close something. This is the end. We close things. When we do have a sacral, when you can see a sacral defined and someone who do have this gate, well, you can be certain if the person respond correctly, this person will have enough energy to go to the end of the task, like to complete the task. It's a gate that is about the beginning and the end. It's the depth in the design. It's everything, and then you close it.
Mm-hmm.
So now we kind of like at the end of a cycle. And if you have a look on Gate 42, hexagram 1, which is line 1, sorry, so hexagram 42, line 1, it's diversification.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, we are in a position where universe, the program, is asking us, hey, it is time to diversify yourself and to go in a different way, to
Mm-hmm.
really go in a different way, to expand your resources and to expand your vision, to see different things, so you can really maximize your development, so you can use your full potential. So that's what is going on, and that's what we're going to experience for the next couple of days. It's truly the end of something, and maximizing our resources so we can start something new, implement something new, and we will have energy to carry on.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Come back to where you are.
Yep. Yeah. How do you feel for, like, how was your week in Gate 51? What did you experience?
I mean, I was saying in line 6, I'm like, oh, it wasn't, I was kind of scared because it wasn't very shocking. And I was
Hmm.
thinking, oh, I'm saying this the last day. Uh,
Hmm.
I feel like something is echoing. I don't know. And so it wasn't very shocking to me. I don't know
Hmm.
why, but it felt like kind of more calm than usual. And I almost feel like a little hollow, and I feel like I'm probably detaching from a lot of the things.
Hmm.
Detachment is how we speak about the 42
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
Gene. And I feel like there are some things that I'm detaching from. Like I'm working a lot, but I
Hmm.
also, there are other things that for me were important before. So even with my practice, for example, yoga every morning, I kind of detached from that.
Hmm.
And even some people in my life, like I don't have time. So
Hmm.
there's something where I think it's more the 42 that has come in. The 51 was not so strong for me. The 42
Yeah.
comes in to say more like, okay, I say yes to what I can say yes to.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Well, the 51 is, it's a gate from the ego center, from the heart center. And the ego center is a motor, but it doesn't operate like the sacral. The sacral is consistent. It's always having energy, always, 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 and it's always here. But the ego center, it's not like this. It's really about on and off. Sometimes it is on and the willpower is here, and you may get shocked, or you may have energy to shock others, and sometimes it is off. And when it's
Mm-hmm.
off, well, the ego needs to recharge. The ego needs his time to recharge. So it's funny because some friends of mine are like, Ben, why you don't have motivation? Why you do nothing? It's like a week you're doing nothing. And I'm like, yeah, dude, well, I don't have motivation. I don't have will. And they're like, but you ego define. And I'm like, yeah, but the ego define that doesn't mean necessarily is that, I'm constantly pushing and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the sacral pure generator. We kind of work with levels.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things happen and I do have energy and willpower, and sometimes for like a week there's nothing, and my ego is just recharging, the sacral is just recharging, and I know that it's kind of like the stillness before the storm. And I know when it's still like this and really nothing is happening, well, that's going to be a storm after. And it's like life, shamanism, the way of nature, the way of listening spirit. Well, spirit are clear. Winter, it's only 3 4 months, 4 months, and then it's summertime, and then it's falls, and then it's winter again, and springs, and it's not summer 365 days a year. um,
Mm-hmm.
that's not how it works. So yeah, the last week some people maybe experienced some shock, and some no, it was completely fine. It was just chill. The shock maybe was actually that there's nothing to do, or like nothing is happening.
Mm-hmm.
They-
Exactly.
so they were like, oh my god, this is nothing, oh my god, it's too much stillness, oh my god, so they freaked out. That was the shock. Right.
Yeah. I feel a lot of what you said too, because I said before I was feeling hollow, and I
Mm.
feel like that's when sometimes when I'm not listening, when I'm not listening to nature, when I'm not just listening to the rhythm of life, but I have this set schedule, and I'm open ego. I'm a
Mhm.
completely open ego. So for me, it's like I have said yes to this and this and this and this. And even if I said yes last year to projects, I'm like, but I said yes last year. I have
Yeah.
to do this, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and that's really for you, um your lesson here to learn on how you can decondition your mind, that is going into your openness, into your open heart center, and making decision for you. Your mind is committing to so many things that you won't be able to deliver.
Yeah.
That's the problem with 70% of the population. And I'm fucking sick and tired of this. I mean, I'm seeing all those fucked up people with open heart center who are constantly trying to prove themselves, overtaking, making promises everywhere, and then they cannot deliver their promise. And I go nuts. I go crazy. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Hey, yo, that's the whole world. I mean, look at it. People have no sense of worth. They have no idea what it means to be worthy. So they constantly trying to prove themselves, constantly trying to put an image into the world. And how they do that? Well, they believe that feeding themselves with outside stuff, material stuff, will make them worthy. Look at my big fancy car. Look at my big house. Look at my 1,000 watch. Well, it just give you the clock. It give you time. Yeah, I have a $10 watch and give me time as well. You know, and
And
that
it can be also much more subtle than that. It
Mhm.
can be something you don't even know what's your motor. You think you're a cycle generator, and
Yeah,
suddenly you realize that it's your completely open ego that is
uh,
driving you.
yeah.
And you're not, for you, maybe it's not the outer material stuff, but
Hmm.
there is something else. It's to be loved or be included or be understood.
Hmm.
There are so many ways where it's even tricking us when we
Oh
think,
yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, the keynote of the heart center, it's the willpower and material worth. The material world and the self-worth. But yeah, it's material world. So you can see. I mean, I remember this story about Brian Tracy, but multi-billionaires. And the dude, when he became billionaire, he went to see his dad, and he was like, am I worthy, dad? See, I'm billionaire now. The open heart center, Richard Branson, billionaires, totally open heart center. And I'm not saying, by the way, this is wrong, but it's interesting to see how and And this is the point. I don't want to say this in front of everyone on live, but but the only way, not the only way, but the way we can make money in this matrix is through the open centers. Through the openness, this is how we make money. So now you see why I don't want to say that. Because it means you have to go and seek your not self and live your not self, and that's how you're going to make money. You basically make the money through your openness. So by proving yourself, open head, selling inspiration, open G Center, selling coaching to teach people how they can find themselves because they have such a lack of identity. That's it. That's how you make money. Through the not self, through the openness. See how the world is fucked up. Everyone is seeking money. Generators working for money. No generator can work for money. It's not the point. If it doesn't satisfy them, it's just not the point. All those projectors believing that success is about money, it isn't. So they all work so hard like slave to achieve something, to have the money. So they think they're going to be successful. Oh, I'm successful now. And then they just realize they're just fucking empty. There's nothing here. No one on this planet like needs 1 million a month. No one. And this is where we're going, 2027. Everything gonna just fall apart. And today, gate 42, which is the gate of growth, it is a very, very good time. This week, the next few days, very good time to have a look inside, to stop looking outside and like, how can I grow? How can I fully grow? And I'm telling you, and it's not you specifically, but people who are watching here, you want to be a badass? You really want to be a badass? Well, try this exercise. Every time you saying they are like this, they do this, he is, she is, you remove it and you put I. Instead of saying they are this, they do that, oh, he is like this, oh, she is that, oh, you blah blah blah, whatever. You remove and you put I, and you will see I like this, I do blah blah blah, I blah blah blah. And then you can see where the bucket is full of shit. You will see your own bullshit, and then you're gonna be, oh my god, why do I think so much? Yeah, we're just full of shit, of not self minds, all the time. And I did this exercise for so long, and I'm still doing it. And that was the quickest, faster way to get out of the mind and to get out of the openness and the conditioning. And then it's a potential of wisdom, because everything that is white in your design, it's the openness, but it's the potential of wisdom. And that's what we're doing right now. Gate 42, the gate of growth, increase, diversification, the opportunity to diversify yourself, to observe yourself, to see to what you want to say yes, to what you want to say no, the potential of just development, growing. Don't know if you resonate with this, but yeah.
I thought it was interesting with Johanna because she was asking about the ego center, because it's easy to say this is how the open ego work and this is what they do and they go out there and prove themselves. And like for me, I recognize myself, but like I said, for me it's more subtle, and that way it's more tricky. So I feel like it can also be interesting to say how does how does that ego center work that is open, that has wisdom? Like how does it feel, when it has the openness and it has the wisdom? How do you see that open center work in its beauty?
Well, the for me as an ego defined, it's difficult to see the wisdom of it because it's defined. But what I can observe is to recognize people who do not have the ego center, so the heart center open, they have this ability, this wisdom to recognize who is worth their word, who will keep their words, who will be able to that they have also like a healthy sense of it's no competition here. They know they don't need to compete. They know, they recognize when invitation to compete is healthy for them or not. That they know, they just know nothing to prove here. And they know they can use the willpower of someone who do have an ego defined to help them to have courage, to have access to willpower for a limited of time, to do something, to, you know, to deliver something. Yeah, that's how the wisdom potential gonna work here.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel the open centers for sure. They're the tricky thing. So for me, there's so many things. I mean, I'm out of like the business world, and I'm out of having to have 100. I mean, I don't do exams anymore, but in school it was like it was horror because if I didn't have 100% on my exams, I felt like I was worth nothing. So
Mhm,
a lot of those like bigger things, I've find a way to live a life or to create a life where I don't have that. But then it's subtle. Then I see now I do what I love, but my
mhm,
my schedule is completely full, and it's still very hard for me to cut and say, okay, now we've been live for 40 minutes, let's get off. It's
mhm,
very hard, and I
mhm,
feel like that is the open center that's still here. Then of course I am good at reflecting back to people when they are in the hamster wheel because I've been there, so I learn
mhm,
from my openness.
mhm.
So, but somehow I feel like the open center is always a challenge, and I guess for you it's
Yeah,
your throat and your head and your asana, right? So
yeah,
I guess there's a similar story there that you kind of peel the layers of the not self, so the kind of the big chunk you got it, but then there's always coming and biting you
yeah,
still a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, that's why, when I do my coaching program, it it is really about, a lot of people ask me, hey, how can I become a teacher? How can I teach human design? How blah blah blah? And I'm like, well, the first thing I want to tell you, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a guru. I'm not a teacher. I don't teach human design. I live it. I live it for myself, and then I share it. I share people. Hey, look, this is what I do, and if you do this, because this is you, you can be correct for yourself. No, that's it. That's the whole point. And when I do this kind of coaching with people, or like guidance or supporting them during a couple of weeks, well, I give them very specific exercise to have a look on every open center that they have in their design.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing those kind of exercise, they can quickly really recognize the voice from the mind, and they have the ability to get out of it, like quickly. It's almost instantaneous, but
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of energy. So for example, with my open throats, I know all the keynote of my open throat. I know it's like trying to attract attention, talking too much, trying to do too much, speaking too much, trying to manifest things, blah blah blah. I know this is all about the open throat. And at the moment I catch myself trying to do those things, it usually takes me like a few minutes. And then I'm like, whoa, 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 Ben, what are you doing here? And I stop and I observe. And I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm trying, my mind is trying to do something. And another exercise that I can share with you is, instead of saying I, say my mind,
Mm-hmm. I
because
like that
we are not the mind. The mind is not me. So each time I'm like, oh, I think I should do that. Oh, I think blah, blah, blah. Oh, I believe blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. No, my mind think that I should do that. My mind believe that I cannot do this, or I should do this, or blah, blah, blah. And so it really allows me quickly to see where the bucket full of shit is, and I can clean it. I can, okay, no, I don't want this anymore. So
one.
that's how today, even with an open throat, well, I really remain still, and I really enjoy this. I enjoy it. So
Mm-hmm.
then with people with an heart center open, because we talk about the heart center, but people will recognize themselves overtaking. Each time they're going to be like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I need to be in control. I need to be in control so I can prove my worth. Or they think I can do it, so I better show them that I can do it. And each time they can catch themselves trying to do those things. just get out of it. Stop doing it. And that's gonna be painful at the beginning because the mind gonna fight, like the mind gonna be, oh my god, no, 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 no. It's kind of dying. But then when you get out of it, yeah, you're just gonna laugh at yourself. You're gonna be like, I don't need to be in control. I don't need to whatever. So it will be easier. I don't know if people resonate with this, but I think they do. And yeah.
Yeah, I guess your approach when we have a lot of jinky people too, and it's similar with the shadows. Like when you find yourself in the shadows, like you kind of get interested in it. You're like, so for the
Mm-hmm.
42, it would be like you get caught up in expectations, and then you're like, oh, now I'm here. Then you kind of detach from that state of like failure expectation,
Yeah.
and then you can start to be relaxed about life again. So it's a
Yeah.
similar thing. And somehow human design always feels a little bit harder to be like, oh my crap, my shit. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's good, and sometimes it might be, sometimes the shadow kind of, sometimes I feel not always maybe jump out from it, but for me to be like, okay, I'm still a slave from my open ego,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
that I'm doing things that are fun. To kind of also stay a little bit in the feeling of what that is, not just start to reschedule everything right away, but actually be okay. I ended up here again, and maybe I can contemplate this before I feel like how to clean this crap somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if you would like to say something. So people that are born this week, because I saw we had some new people, they would be born in the cross of the Maya, which is the 42, the 32, the 62, and the 31. And they can have that, of course, in different constellation. They can be a 1-3 if they are born, I think, today.
Mm-hmm.
No, today is 2-4. Is there anything that we could share about this cross? So that would be the 42 in the sun, but it's also the design side is the 61, 62, and then we have the Earth in 32. Is that, what, how do you have anything you could say about this cross and what it means to have those four main gates?
So the 42, 32, 61, 62, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cross of Maya. Um, well, that's if I remember well, because there's a lot of cross, but the best way to have a good understanding of an incarnation cross is always to have a look at those four numbers, those four gates, because that's what define your incarnation cross. So when you have a look on gate 42, which is the gate of growth, the 32, which is continuity, 61, the inner truth, the mystery, and the 62, which is the gate of the details, well, it is clear this is the cross that is driving by closing. And I think having a look on this, I think it is important for people to pursue what they are passionate about. Really, very important, and with a scope that is achievable, regardless of the challenges they may face, but really being aware on how they're going to engage their energy in a scope that is achievable for them, and yeah, being sure they can complete. The drive for them is to find something that they can complete. um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, having a good understanding, understanding fully how their environment works is also really the key for them, and
Yeah, I feel this cross. What I like with this cross is that when you have the 42 and the 32 on the conscious side, I see a lot of that. People that don't want to fail, people that kind of have expectations on themselves, people that are kind of, they go for it, and it's that energy. And then you have this inner side of kind of mystery and
Mhm,
even like light language almost in the 62. It's
mhm,
intellect, in its detail, but it's also kind of somehow magic in how it comes out. And then have the same people that are born half a year from now, and they have the 61 as their life work and the
mhm,
62 as their earth. It's like then that side is their personality. So this
mhm,
cross is one of the crosses where I see a lot of difference depending on where, which is the conscious and which is the unconscious.
mhm, mhm.
And
Yeah.
maybe also that we are right now, if we should take, if we, before we finish, if we just take a look at what's activated right now,
Mhm,
if it's big enough, if you have that cross, you also have Pluto and Pluto and still Jupiter. They are conjunct that the purpose, what we call in the gene keys, but
Mm-hmm.
is the personality Earth. So that would be conjunct now. You're kind of grounding in one way, will be activated by the conjunction of Pluto and Jupiter. And that can probably also be something. And maybe having that incarnation cross your 61 is highlighted now, although the sun is in the 42, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Totally. Yeah.
And I'm
Final
wondering,
word.
is there anything else that stands out? I'm looking. The nodes are still in the 15 and the 10, so
Well,
they're
we still
slowly
have,
going down.
yeah, we still have those nodes for quite a long time now. I think maybe like almost a month. We're seeing this environment. The nodes are the environment that we are seeing all the time, and it's quite a long time that now we have a 15 and 10, which is all about the extreme love of humanity and self-love, the behaving correctly for ourselves. um, yeah, I think checking the transit for today and like for the next couple of days, especially with Get 42, my feeling and intuition, and this is true for me, that's what I keep telling to people. I'm not a guru, I'm not a coach, I'm not a leader, I'm not whatever is, I'm not those things. I'm only here for myself. And it may sound rude, but I really don't give a fuck about everything. This is me. This is only about me. This is my life. This is my time. This is me. This is how can I be correct for myself? How can I love myself? Because if I'm not correct for myself, well, nothing gonna be correct around me. And that's what I keep telling to people. Everyone
And
is.
why do you say that when you say I'm not a sphinx, I'm not this and that? Like, isn't this true for everybody, or why is it more? Why would it be more true for you than for anybody else? Like you were mentioning those crosses, I'm just curious why you
say,
say that.
say again, why?
You said I'm not a sphinx, I'm not this cross, I'm not this cross, so I'm here to be, to be who I am for myself.
Yeah.
So is that not the same thing for all the individuals? What's different from, or do you say that would be a truth for whoever?
Well, the only things I know is this is true for myself. No, this is true for me. I'm a 6'2", and I have no other choice that to be an example, to be a living example of what I'm saying. Otherwise, I'm just going to be such an hypocrite. And you want to piss off a 6'2", call him an hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
It's just awful for us. And we have no other choice to be a living example, to walk the talk. And that's why Gandhi was a 6'2". Bruce Lee was a 6'2". George Lucas is a 6'2". Alan Watts was a 6'2". And all those people, they just show an example on the world. And Gandhi say, be the change you want to see in the world. And I really believe that right now, if everyone would be able to recognize that what is going on today on Earth, it's fucking bullshit. Everything is bullshit. The secret society and aliens and the conspiracy and whatever is. I'm not saying this doesn't exist. This don't exist. It may exist, but this is bullshit. It's a bullshit. It's a distraction to take you away from your true nature. So you give your power away. So you give your attention away. When I wake up every day, the only concern is to be sure that I don't allow my mind to focus on shit that doesn't serve me. That's it. And if everyone could do the same, which is be the change you want to see in the world. Mother Teresa, she said, if you guys manifest, against the war, I won't come. But now, if you gather all together for the peace, I will be here. And how funny it is that everyone is talking about energy and yeah, focusing your energy, your intention, blah, blah, blah. But they're still focusing their fucking energy on like all those bullshit that is going on the planet today. Who cares? Focus on yourself. Do things correctly for yourself and the world change. But as long as we have all those people worrying about aliens, extraterrestrial civilization, and vaccine, and the money, and government, and this and that, and blah, blah, well, you give your energy away and you're not focusing on yourself. It's so easy today to have distraction that will take you away from doing the job, from doing your work. So easy. So stop doing all those things. Focus on you. That's why I keep saying I'm maybe the most selfish person in the world. I don't give a fuck. People can die, people can do what the hell they want. I don't care. It's me. If I'm not correct for me, how can I be correct for the world? It's impossible. So I focus on me first. And when I feel good, when I'm aligned, when I'm correct, I go out and I do me. And because I do me, I hold space for people to do them as well, to be them as well. That's it. That's it.
I mean, I would say that is the bottom line of human design, especially to be correct for you first. And
Yeah.
even in one way that you are a transpersonal, that you are a left cross, which is kind of you need others. That would be to say, some people would say, well, no, you don't have, your destiny is not personal.
Yeah.
Your destiny is transpersonal. How can you say that it's about you? But I feel there is not a paradox. There's not
Yeah.
a conflict in these two, because being
Yeah.
a role model, you kind of have to live it first, and
Yeah.
then you can be an example. So
Yeah.
actually, even for in that case, I feel like it's correct to say it the way you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And Will Smith, and what I'm saying actually, it's kind of like exactly what one of my great hero, which is Will Smith. I really like him. I listen to him a lot. He's a 6'2" as well, and that's the first things he's saying. He's like, people just give so much attention to all those shit that is going around. But if you focus on yourself, and instead of trying to be a coach, to be whatever, and trying to teach people how to do things, you do it for yourself. Well, then you have no more interest to teach people. No, you do things for you, and then people will come and ask you, hey, how do you do that? Oh, I did this and this. Go and try. And it becomes something different. There's no need to teach anymore,
Mm-hmm.
you know and and that's how I believe we can shift a lot of things: finance, education, and whatever is. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm looking at the transits again.
Hmm.
Still, we have Pluto and Jupiter in that 61. I feel like that is there still.
Hmm.
And what more? Well, right now in Mercury we have the 25th. So maybe this acceptance and the universal love, like in the way we communicate in the world, in the way we understand the world right now, that
Hmm.
25 is inviting us to have a little bit more acceptance, to
Yeah.
have a little bit more like that quality of spirit. So I feel
Yeah.
like that is an important thing too. There can be a lot of harshness, and
Yeah.
I saw a video yesterday, and it was all about the Chinese government as being
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
core in this, and they did the virus, and it's
Hmm.
like, well, we and them, that's what I will often say, like, who are you actually speaking about when people say they, that's
Hmm. Hmm.
society, but who are they?
Yeah.
We created that, we
Yeah.
created the situation, we
Yeah.
are in the situation.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is the collective too, where I, as a 4/6, I'm seeing that
Yeah.
too.
Totally.
Like, where are we going?
Before being a collective, we are individual, and that's the beauty of human design. That's the beauty of being a human being. It's the science of differentiation, that we are all so different as individual. And as individual, we create the whole, we create the collective. And if you have a look on the transit right now, I have a total completely open throat, so I have no idea what's coming out of my mouth. And right now the transit is speaking through me. As you say, Pluto, gate 61, inner truth. I'm just speaking the inner truth that is inside of me. And it's line fifth, influence. So I'm influencing the world right now by sharing my inner truth, the gate of mystery. And communication, Mercury, it's in 25, innocence, gate of the spirit. So I'm sharing with innocence the self-love, the love of, the whole love, on how we can all love ourselves. It, that's what is coming right now, right?
Yeah, and to understand that that's what makes us the collective. So it's not like, oh, I only care about myself and
Hmm.
everybody else can die. It's like, by caring about myself and being in alignment and functioning from my definition and not from my open
Hmm.
center, and functioning from my profile, whether it's a 4-6 or
Hmm.
a 6-2
Hmm.
or 1-3, or
Hmm.
that's how we in the collective can function and build something that is
Yeah,
different from what is built
yeah,
right now, and what
yeah,
like what is collapsing right now, we can say as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Well, yeah, the incarnation cross of planning, which is the cross that is here right now as a background frequency, is going away in 2027. And 2027, we're going to have this incarnation cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is a deeply, 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 deeply individual survival. Deeply.
Hmm.
It, people are going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I don't have time. I don't have time for you. I'm taking care of myself. I'm busy. Leave me alone. That's what's going to happen. It's an individual survival.
Is
This
it
is
34 on the top? What is it? 3420 or 2034?
um
We don't
yeah,
know. The games are 34, 20, 55, and 59.
55, and
On
yeah,
order.
yes, yes, that's it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that's going to be um ah survival instinct, intuition, survival, individual survival, and it's kind of like what I already feel. I already feel like this. I'm already only about my own survival, and very individual.
And then I can give my perspective on it too. If we look at the
Yeah.
20 and 34, the 20 is the throat gate, so it's about presence in the moment. And the 34 is the only, there's a sexual gate, but it's a pure energy gate from the sacral. So if we
Mhm.
all tune into our sacral and live from our true energy, that is not, sexuality, it's just like pure life force, and we're
Mhm.
present in the moment, then that 34-20, it's amazing. And then we have the 55 and the 59 about
Mhm.
freedom and intimacy. So there is
Mhm.
also huge potential in something we haven't lived before. Of
Mhm.
course, in the low frequency, it's a lot about busyness, not being available, being kind of victimized, or being dishonest. And
Mhm.
that's what when we are in contraction and fear, living out these four gates, it's horrible because it's all about
Mhm.
survival and me, me, me. When we
Mhm.
are open and connected, then it's all about the new kind of intimacy and freedom that we can create from our true, centers of being.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something I also see that side of the coin.
Yeah. 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 It's gonna be two sides of the coin. But even if you're in a healthy side of the coin, I mean, I know a lot of manifesting generator because it's a pure manifesting generator channels. The 3420. Even it's super healthy, and a good example. My good friend Russell Brand, he's a manifesting generator to 2034. He's busy all the time. He's keeping himself busy, and he's like super self-absorbed with himself. And it's funny to hang out around him even when it's a healthy way. It's just, sorry, I'm busy, I'm doing things for myself, I'm busy. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm reading the chat, and I'm like, yeah, cool, thank you for every people who are commenting the chat. Stephanie, Carolina, Cassidy, yeah, thank you for all your, yeah.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, I'm just want to say what you were saying with that busyness. I can see I have the 5734 twice, and I was interviewing somebody last week, and he
Hmm.
had three of the integration gates, and he said that it feels horrible because I'm just focused on my thing. I don't want to be. I'm not doing it against anybody, but he
Yeah.
had that feeling that people are always resenting him uh, from for that, and I can see that with the 3457, that it
Hmm.
feels that we're not available, and then people can resent that, and then especially if you have an open emotional, it feels
Yeah.
terrible because you
Yeah.
get their wave inside of you. You're like, I was just going about my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. This, I mean, there's so much I could share and say, but some things that I really hope people can grasp and understand. There's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with being selfish. And actually, being selfish is being altruism. There's nothing wrong with focusing only on yourself and being busy and not wanting to talk to people, or it doesn't mean you don't care. It's just like my personal point of view. When I'm busy with myself, and I'm sure, and that's what what's her name, the Will Smith's wife, Jared, she said, with Oprah Winfrey during this amazing interview. She was like, at the end of the day, even if I have my family, and my kids and every day, I make sure that I fulfill my needs first, that I take care of myself first, before my children, before my husband. It's me first. Because if I don't do me first, I won't be able to give to other people. It's impossible. But in our society, we have been so shamed to put ourselves first. That's why we have so much problems. It's a big lack of self-love. But at the moment you put yourself first, it doesn't mean you don't like people, you don't care about people, you don't want to help people. But we cannot give what we don't have. We can't. We can't give to people what we are not giving first to ourselves. And this is Sleeping Phoenix. This is where we're going, 2027, and that's the week we are having right now. Gate 42, growth, increase. You know, it's what is happening.
Although somewhere it says that the increase is the more you give, the more you receive. So there are many. It's also tricky because there are many interpretations. But I
Yeah.
think that's a good note to it's a good note to end it on. And I think this was a fun conversation too.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
there are different ways of seeing it.
I
Anyway.
agree, and I agree with you. And the more you give, the more you receive. But be sure
Mhm,
you give to yourself first.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. You can find Ben under the live. They're gonna be linked and Unlock Your Design or 64 Doors, and we're gonna be live next week again.
Mhm.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye bye.